You're watching Outsiders and Net Zany, the wacky, crazy world of net zero. Now, this is pretty funny because last year I did an editorial on chemtrails, and I could feel my two co-hosts, my dear friends either side of me, looking at each other going, okay, Rowan's lost the plot this time. He's gone completely bonkers. But as always, I say, what's a conspiracy theory on Outsiders? Just give it a matter of time and it becomes the truth. Here we go. In Britain this week, I couldn't believe it. They have announced, the British government has announced they're spending £50 million on experiments to dim the sun using chemical trails in the air to combat climate change. You couldn't make it up, but they're doing it.
Britain? What country? What country? The sun-soaked land of what? I mean, this is a country...
The Misty Isles themselves.
I mean, if there was going to be any sort of intervention like that, you would hope it would be to increase the number of sunlight hours in Britain. I mean, it's a miserable, dark place. Like about, what, 11 and a half months of the year. So why would you want to dim the sun in the UK? This
to fight climate change.
Yeah, there it is. Ask yourself then, why would anyone ever want to block out the sun deliberately? What kind of person would want to do that kind of thing? Well, if you ever needed proof that we're led by dangerous, incompetent weirdos, that's what they're planning to do now, here in the UK. British scientists are launching a £40 million government-funded geoengineering experiment to literally test dimming the sun in the name of solving climate change. The government's Advanced Research and Invention Agency, or ARIA, aims to block sunlight reaching the Earth's surface with projects that include spraying aerosols in the atmosphere to make clouds brighter, which will then reflect sunshine. What could go wrong? Aerosols would be sprayed into the atmosphere using boats or aeroplanes. It's interestingly a similar process to the one parroted by so-called conspiracy theorists who have been complaining for years about what they call chemtrails in our skies, like these on your screen now.
Bill Gates is backing the first high-altitude experiment of one radical climate change solution, creating a massive chemical cloud that could cool the Earth. It's called solar geoengineering, and it's highly controversial. It would look something like this. Thousands of planes would fly very high and use nozzles to inject millions of tons of light-reflecting particles into the stratosphere. It would create a thin chemical cloud of those particles around the whole planet, blocking some sunlight from reaching the surface.
In the United Arab Emirates, they cloud seed, and it's public knowledge that they do that. In the last few years, we've seen some of the worst flooding in Dubai, and yeah, of course, they're going to deny, oh, it's not what we're doing to the clouds, but it's a bit coincidental.
But they didn't deny cloud seeding, they just said the two weren't linked. They were cloud seeding one week quite heavily, and then the next week they had a record floods. I mean, they denied that, but they don't deny they actually do cloud seed.
Okay, this is going to sound like something out of science fiction, but U.S. researchers are pushing to study how to dim the sun. This is part of a radical new effort to fight the increasingly dire effects of climate change. Joining us this morning is the director of the Global Environmental Politics Program at American University, Simon Nicholson. Good to have you with us.
Nice to be with you. Thank you.
Now, this is not your project. This is a project that is being looked at by the National Academies of Science, But you're going to explain for us. There are three methods scientists are considering to dim the sun. I didn't even know this was possible. This is what they're looking at. How do they work, or how could they work?
Yeah, the basic idea here is that one way to respond to climate change might be to try and reflect some amount of incoming solar energy back into space.